And good evening. Welcome to Steamworks Spirit Station. It is April 27th, and wow, you can take these off outside. Isn't that wonderful? That was just announced today. That's good news. We've seen the blossoming of the trees and the blooming of the flowers, and now everything's turning green. And as it turns green, it's becoming much more full and lush, and it feels like summer, doesn't it? Especially today. Today was a shorts day. I didn't do it, but you could. 80 degrees. This is awesome. I think it's going to be that way tomorrow too. My name's Greg Spencer. I'm the pastor at Trinity United Methodist Church in Brackenridge, and I'm involved with the Band Together Ministries, which is a music ministry for people with autism on the autism spectrum. And we are doing Steamworks Spirit Station with John Vento, and we're so grateful to be here every Tuesday night. And I'm glad that you could join us online and that you could join us here at Steamworks Creative in Gibsonia. And we always start at 7. We open the doors a little bit early so that people can get in, do sound checks and stuff. But you're welcome to join us any way you can, because it's a nice way to take a break. It's a way of refreshing ourselves in the middle of the week. It's a way to get away from other stuff and maybe not think so much. Maybe get away from some of the emotion and the stress and the pressure. This is a great season for that. It's a great time of hope. People are looking forward to better. They're hoping for better. They may not know what it's going to be or how it's going to come. So we're hoping that if they come to Spirit Station, they'll get a chance to refresh and renew, maybe get a new idea here and there. Now, I have a couple of announcements that I need to share with you. The first is a bit of a disappointment for me, and that is that we have been telling you about the celebration of Lives in Music, which was a memorial service that we had planned to do this coming Sunday. It was going to be in the afternoon, and it was for the whole music community of Pittsburgh. We had contacted jazz and classical and opera and light opera and the symphony. We had contacted the blues company, the rock and roll, acoustic, everywhere. We were reaching out because the music community doesn't often get a chance to be together, and they've all lost quite a bit over the last few years, and we thought if we did a celebration of the lives and an uplifting of their music and a chance for the community to come together, it would be a marvelous, amazing thing. And we were planning to do that this Sunday. And I noticed the Lord was helping out because they said it was going to be 60 degrees up until yesterday. Now it's going to be 72 and sunny. They said it was going to rain. Now it's all going to be nice, but we've had to cancel. And so we're going to have to try to reschedule that or try to do something maybe a little bit different to bring that community together. Now, the Spirit Stations is a time of spiritual refreshment, but it's surrounded by some of the best music in the Pittsburgh area. And if you happen to be a musician and would like to be a part of it, then you can contact me. It's greg@waystationsministries.org. And we'd be happy to talk to you about including you in these weekly events. Now, the other thing that we're involved in terms of music and reaching out to the community is something that I'm doing at the Trinity United Methodist Church in Brackenridge. That has a magnificent sanctuary, and it's large enough, and the acoustics are so incredible that we can do musical events, concerts, and things like that. We also have this incredible parking lot that's up right off of Freeport Road. And last summer, during the COVID, when everybody was locked down, the church was given an exemption. We were able to have events and worship experiences where we could bring people together, and we did a variety of these community refreshment activities, and we're going to do that again this year. It's every Sunday afternoon. Now, the general artists will be from 4 to 6 in the evening. We give away free popcorn, free water. The music is free. The events are free. And it's open to the whole community. So we're starting to book those now. And if there's, again, any groups or musicians interested in doing that, we'd like to invite you to contact me. And we'll see if we can't get you into the schedule. The first one is how we started last year. It is an Autism Open Mic through Band Together Pittsburgh. And that's going to be on May 16th. Then on May 23rd, we have Jeff Pogus and Friends, which is a rock and roll event, and we'll tell you about the rest of the months as we go forward. But tonight, there's one other thing. There's been some confusion over the last several weeks, and it's my joy to announce that Mary Lou Schroeder is going to be doing the open mic events back here at Steamworks Creative. It starts on May 5th, and it's going to be on the first and third Mondays? Wednesdays, first and third Wednesdays of every month. So the open mics return. Isn't it great to get back to life? Well, tonight we are really blessed once more. We are thrilled to have Carrie Collins. She is a singer and she's a songwriter. She'll do some cover stuff, but boy, you can hear her heart, and she sings so beautifully. So forget work, forget stress, let go of whatever's in the oven. Let's just relax. Listen to the music. Let it lift us up. Let's welcome Carrie.
Cool. Now we are. Hello. Okay. I'm going to start with. I'm going to play, I think, mostly originals this evening. This is one of mine. It's called Butterfly. I had writer's block once, and I wrote a song about it. It's It's called Songwriter's Lament.
I'm sitting here with my empty head, and I'm wondering what hasn't already been said. And I'm sitting here and I got my guitar in my left hand, and I'm sitting here and I'm just staring at my pen, and all I know is I know nothing at all, and all I know is I know nothing at all, and all I know is I know nothing at all. All I know is I know nothing at all. And I'm sitting here, and whose story do I tell? And I'm wondering, do I write about myself, or do I write about you? All this, all that, all them, or us. And I'm sitting here and I don't know what I'm doing now. And all I know is I know nothing at all. And all I know is I know nothing at all. All I know is I know nothing at all. All I know is I know nothing at all. And it's like Jack Kerouac said, I've got nothing to offer anyone but my own confusion. Yeah. And it's like Jack Kerouac said, I've got nothing to offer anyone but my own confusion. Yeah. And it's like Jack Kerouac said, I've got nothing to offer anyone but my own confusion. Yeah. It's like Jack Kerouac said, I've got nothing to offer but my own confusion. I'm still sitting here and these little thoughts run through my head, and it's so unclear just what should be said. And I'm sitting here and I'm thinking this life is a parade, and I'm sitting right here, but does any of it matter anyway? 'Cause all I know is I know nothing at all. And all I know is I know nothing at all. All I know is I know nothing at all. All I know is I know nothing at all. Thank you.
It's my best friend from high school, everyone. Graduated 21 years ago. Cheers. Cheers, Charles. This is my sad girl song. It's called Let My Heart Break.
destruction from the inside. But what's destructive now, and what's destruction anyhow? And time said through my head, those dark skies there turning red. You better hurry up inside, hurry up inside, come on inside. And I'm just gonna let my heart break for me. Gonna keep my heart just a minute to break. Is this comfort in the pain? And I'm gonna let my heart break for me. Gonna keep my heart just a minute to break. Is this comfort in the pain? And I want them to stop like it did. And I want time out of my head. I want time to stop like it did. And I want time out of my head. I want time out of my head. Hey, by the way, have I told you today there's something in my brain? These thoughts in my brain. I'm just gonna let my heart break for me. Gonna keep my heart just a minute to break. Is this comfort in the pain? And I'm gonna let my heart break for me. Gonna keep my heart just a minute to break. Is this comfort in the pain? Yeah, there's comfort in the pain. In the pain. I'm just gonna let my heart break for a minute. Gonna give my heart just a minute to break.
Should I do one more for this? So I did this thing, it was fall 2019 through the Pittsburgh Songwriters Circle. It's called the Acoustic Guitar Project. And there are 55 cities internationally each year and 5 musicians per city. And there's a guitar that each city has that participates. And the thing is you have 1 week with that guitar to write a song and record it, upload it to the Acoustic Guitar Project website, and then sign the guitar, take a picture with the guitar, pass the guitar on to the next person. It was an interesting week. I prayed a lot, and this is the song that I came up with. It's about God. It's called Looking Glass. It's a sister song to the one I just played.
Through the eye of my mind there's a looking glass, and as I slip through the cracks I look forward and I look back, peel away another layer, and I try on a thicker skin, peel away another layer, try on a thicker skin, and I fall through the looking glass, and I go mad trying to get back, all back to the you that I once knew. I can't run, No, I can't run from things I've done. Can't lie to you. Can't lie to you. The only way out of this mess is through. The only way out of this mess is the only way out of this mess is through.
That's my first set, so.
Once again, let's give it up for Carrie Collins. You identify? You feel the pain sometimes yourself? I love music and how it can express for us what's going on in our lives. I love the way it connects us to each other. I love the way it gives words to our emotions, to our thoughts, to our feelings. And in the midst of it, while you're listening to it, the music and the words together and your identification with it starts to lift you up. It starts to help you rise above, even in the heartache, even in this. I'm sure that's not the only other time she's ever sung it, but we can feel it, and we can be delivered through it, can't we? The questions that I'm going to be dealing with tonight are somewhat problematic. I think one is somewhat controversial. So before we do, let me do a little bit of a disclaimer, if you will. As a pastor of a Christian faith, I think that it is my role to be not political. In other words, not to take a position on any social issue whatsoever. Doesn't mean that I don't have opinions. It means that the ministry is more important. People's lives are more important than the things that divide us. And so I don't take positions on those things. Why? Well, there's a very simple answer. If I were to take a side, it means I immediately discount another whole half of the world's population. That's what happens when we take sides, when we take positions. We hold one position, someone holds a different position, and we exclude one another. And as a pastor, I'm here to be for everybody. So our events are open to everyone. Our worship services are open to everyone. Everyone is welcome, and I'm hoping that we can help our whole community learn how to care for each other in spite of the fact that we might disagree on some things. I think that is a higher way of living. I think it's a better way of living. I think we don't have to be afraid of those that we are opposed to. Now, I'm a Steelers fan, but that doesn't mean that I have to hate every other team. I can sometimes feel bad about the fact that some of our great players go with other teams. I've seen that, and we've had those discussions. But you don't have to think ill of someone else in order to think good of someone that you like. You don't have to do that. You don't have to be there. And so it's important that we understand that people think differently. And one of the best ways I can think of to describe that is the road. I have a lot of illustrations about being on the highway or traveling. And maybe you've had these experiences too. What I've discovered is that nobody is out for anybody else on the road. Have you noticed that? Everybody's out for themselves. And man, oh man, is it an interesting time to be driving today. I have all these thoughts that run through my mind as I see other drivers. And I started to realize that that was starting to affect me negatively and spiritually. And I think, wait a minute, what? I don't care about that. I'm not going to do anything about it. They're not going to pay any attention. They obviously don't care about me. So why am I letting that be an issue that breaks me up? And I've noticed that in the media too, that as soon as one issue is resolved one way or the other, the opposing sides find something else to be complaining about. There's always something bad to talk about. I guess that's what gets your ratings. So it's not really about the good of the people. It's not of service to the people. It's about how you keep yourself popular. And one of the ways they're doing it is always being negative about the other side. This is not a healthy thing, I don't think. And so what did we learn? Maybe we don't have to be subservient to those things. Maybe we don't have to be so concerned about those things that divide us, those things that bring us down, those things that make us feel inadequate. Now, how do you deal with that? Well, I'd like to say we do it by faith, and not everybody realizes that they have a faith, but we do. Every single person does. It may not be organized around a formal religion, it may not be structured that way, but there's hope in our hearts. I think most all of us hope that this virus is going to one day leave us and we won't have to be encumbered by it. Is that a fair belief? Is that a fair trust? That we all hope for that? That's a faith. There is a faith that guides the way we think, and sometimes we don't pay much attention to what it is that formed it. Sometimes we don't realize that our emotional life has kind of shaped the way that we think and the way that we perceive. Now, there are lots of different ways to believe. There's a lot of different paths of faith. In the Christian church, which I am a part of, there are a lot of different denominations. What is a denomination? Well, let's look at it in terms of money. Okay, how many different forms of money are there? How many different denominations are there? Well, you got a penny, you got a nickel, you got a dime, you got a quarter, you got a 50-cent piece, you got a silver dollar. You got a $1, you got a $2 bill, at least there's a few still around. You have the $5 bill, the $10 bill, the $20 bill, the $50 bill, the $100 bill, and I don't know how much higher it is because I've never seen them. All of those are denominations, and it's all made out of the same stuff. So it is with the Christian tradition. There are many different denominations, many different paths. Do you think that one is superior to another? Do you think that one is the right and all the other ones are wrong? Absolutely not. Because we are all different from one another, and we all find different paths. We all find the path that's right for us, that seems to work in our understanding of ourselves, our relationship with others, and hopefully it will be a positive influence. Hopefully it will be something that guides us in something that is not only good for ourselves, but for those that we care about, and the people that we work with, and the people that we live with, and we'd like our world to be better. I have a feeling that most people have good intent. Would you agree with that? The way they see it. I think that they have a good intention behind what they're thinking, what they're hoping for, the way they live, the way they interact. Sometimes we don't do it very well. Sometimes we don't think about others and how they're responding very well. But I think most of us start with a good intent. Well, that draws me a little bit closer to the Christian tradition. Now, that's not to say that other religions don't have validity too, because when I think of a God of love, which is basically the definition out of the Christian church, I cannot imagine a God who cares for the whole world, who doesn't care for the whole world, only cares for those that choose that particular path. That just doesn't make sense to me. I can't think that God says that this denomination is better than another. This one is the only one that's right and everything else is wrong. I can't see God writing off 90% of the population of the world because they didn't happen to think a certain way or never even heard about it. No, I think the Spirit is planted in each one of us, and the God who creates the entire universe, who has a nature of love, cares for that whole universe. I think that God cares for every single one and finds ways to communicate that presence and to help people to draw closer in some way or another. And I think that it is a personality. Because I'm Christian, I believe in the God of love. And I believe in Jesus Christ, who showed us that way. And that's where I bring up this controversial text. It comes from the Gospel of John, and it's actually stated in a couple of different ways in a couple of different places. But what I'd like to try to do is explain this a little bit to you from a way that you may not have thought about it. I don't think it's as divisive as we think. From John 14, verse 6, it says this. Jesus is talking, and he says, I am the way and the truth and the light. This is the hard part. No one comes to the Father but by me. Whoa. Now, some would say, if I don't believe that word for word the way it says, then I'm out. And that's okay. They're free to believe that if they want. But I look for meaning. I look for what is Jesus trying to say? And who's he trying to say it to? I think the Bible's a living word, and I think it's always speaking to people in every generation, in every age, and that God has intention for that for us. So what's he saying when no one comes to the Father but by me? Well, let's take a look. In world religions, not everybody is looking for God as Father. They're not thinking about it in terms of relationship. That's not the way they've understood life. That's not the way they understand community. That's totally outside their understanding. The concept of Father is a loving parent who gave us life, who nurtures us through that life, who has compassion for us through everything, even in the difficulty, is trying to encourage and help us to be better. It is a constant, positive outpouring of a loving parent, father, mother, all. Nothing but love towards the child that's been raised. Now, not everybody's looking for that. Therefore, you don't get into it. I mean, a person who's not looking for a relationship isn't going to be looking for this kind of context in which to understand God. But what Jesus is saying is if you think in terms of love, then you understand God in terms of compassion. And when you think in terms of compassion, then you can have a heart for anyone. You can be designed and live in such a way that you can be a blessing to every single person. And if you think of it that way, then there's an awful lot less that's going to get you upset. When you're thinking in terms of compassion, as the Father has taught, as the Mother has taught, then it's not so much about what they do to upset you. It's about how do we help it to be better. The person who cuts you off, I don't know what's going on in their mind. I don't know if they didn't see me. I don't know if they were angry or just trying to tick me off. I don't know what was going on for them. And if I allow myself to get chewed up by some negative thinking about it, that's not going to help me. So let's relax. Let's stop letting that be an issue. Other persons don't have the same understanding about what someone has. I told you at the beginning, I don't want to take social issues. And there's a lot of social issues out there. There's a lot that are very divisive. And people have sometimes said, well, if you're a Christian, you have to take this position. I said, no, because I've had to care for people on both sides. I know the person who's been victimized by the judgment against, and I know the person who has felt a different way from being on the other side. I felt it on both sides, and I need to be a pastor to them all. So under no circumstances am I going to exclude anybody. Now, that comes from a concept of compassion. I care about you. I care about what you think. I care about how you feel. I care about what's happening around you and how you deal with it. If there's a way that I can help you to stir your imagination or to spark a thought that will help you to think better or to rise above it, or maybe to let it go, then that's what I want to do. I'm not saying judgment against any other faith because people are trying to find where they can connect to God. But I remember I was dealing with a person a long time ago now. They were from a completely different culture altogether. They didn't have anywhere near the same values that I had. Their perspective on the world and upon getting ahead and on being a person was completely different from mine. But they came and wanted to talk to me and ask their questions, which I thought was unusual because I was no expert. I'm still not. But what was interesting is this: I asked the individual, who was in a very significant position, had all kinds of wealth, was very successful, and it was very interesting. But we would talk almost on a weekly basis. And I said, you know, of all the people you could talk to, of all the people that you have to advise and to counsel, I said, why do you come to me? He said, because you respect me. You listen to me. You allow me my beliefs and thoughts. And because of that, I want to know more about what you believe and what you think, and why. Now that is something a little bit better than all the negative things that we've seen or experienced. I know that there's hypocrites out there. I know, as I often like to say, where do you want them if not in the church? Okay, where does the healing happen? Where does the help come? It's from people who care. It's from compassion. And so this is why I'm a Christian. This is why I teach the Christian faith. It helps people. It values people. It raises that above the issues. And I think when we do that, then we can free ourselves from all the stuff that upsets us. I think then we can free ourselves from our own limitations, our own burdens upon ourselves. Does anybody here put themselves down for anything? I'm not the only one? I think everybody kind of finds a way to do that, don't we? We are better than that. There is more good in us than that. There is more good around us than that. And if we would focus on the good, maybe we wouldn't let the bad be so bad. maybe we'd find a way to live a little bit more free. And I think that's what God wants us to be. I think that's what God intends, that we would be happy, that we would have lives that are full and abundant, and that we'd learn how to do that together. Oh, wouldn't that be great? It's not just about one person getting a vaccine. It's about everybody being healthy. It's not about the guidelines that are restrictive. It's about us helping each other to live. Maybe if we would look at life that way, we'd find ways, creative ways, fun ways to enjoy our lives through or in spite of the circumstances around us. If they help, great. But if they don't, I'm not going to let it stop us from living, not going to let it stop us from loving, not going to let it stop us from growing or dreaming or hoping. And that's a much better place to be than in the misery of complaint and guilt and shame and burden and competition and criticism. No. It's not worth comparing with the good that is in us, the good that is around us, the good that is about to be revealed to us. And that, I think, is a great way to live, no matter what happens. Well, how about some more music? Would you like to give more attention to Carrie? Come on back up, Carrie.
I have to play the tuning song real quick. This song is my newest song. Last year when quarantine first started, I think it was the first week and everything had just closed down, a friend of mine and I were like, let's give each other a songwriting challenge. We'll be back at open mics in a few weeks and we can play these songs out. It'll be great. It's taken longer than that. The song title, we said, let's give each other song titles and then we'll write a song to match that title. So the song title I was given was Old Tree. And I wrote and rewrote this for months and months and months, and it's not called Old Tree, it's called Movie Night, but there's a tree in it.
It was a Tuesday night in mid-July, summer of 1943, and she's so lonely, so she puts her best dress on, heads to town. She's taking herself out to the movies. She's going to the movies. Say she lost him a while ago, and she doesn't know if she'll ever find love again. True love like in the movies. And as she stares up at the silver screen, she pictures herself in a movie scene. And she gets lost in a dream and starts to think maybe one night I'll be down by the creek under the cherry tree. And that's where he'll find me, and he'll walk over me and he'll smile and say, he'll say, Tuesday night, say in July, summer of 1943. He's so lonely, so he puts his best shirt on, heads to town. He's taking himself out to the movies. He's going to the movies. He lost his wife years ago, and he knows it's time. He's gotta let her go. He's gotta let her go. And as he stares up at the silver screen, he pictures himself in a movie dream. And he gets lost in a movie dream and thinks maybe one night I'll be down by the creek and I'll see her there, waiting for me underneath the cherry tree. And I'll walk up to her and say, I'll say, hey, hey baby, wanna star in a love story with me? That night after the show, they both go to the diner across the street, and that's where they meet. And he walks over to her table and asks if he can sit down in the empty seat, and she agrees. And he says, excuse me, miss, would you like to go for a walk with me? Down by the creek there's a pretty cherry tree. And she says yes, and as they head that way, they both stop thinking, maybe this is the first scene in our love story. Ooh, a love story, like in the movie summer of 1943. And they find true love, like in the movie. Thank you.
I'm gonna play my gothy love song now. This is inspired by some Edgar Allan Poe poetry. It's called Annabella.
He looks at Annabella and he wonders if there's a common spring, common joy, common sorrow, and common little things. And then Annabella looks at him and wonders why he hides himself so deep inside, so deep inside, so deep inside, behind those eyes, 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 behind those eyes. And as the only water burns, she cries. alright, ain't Bella, 'cause he can hear what she don't say each night like clockwork. The vampires, they take away, but it's alright, Annabella, 'cause it comes back around someday. Yeah, it's alright, Annabella, 'cause it comes back around someday. The sound of ravens in the garden, sounds of stones aged in chains, and time and memory both forgotten, still alone and still today, and still alone and still today, and every day behind those eyes, behind those eyes, behind those eyes. And that's the only wonder when she cries. And it's alright, Annabella, 'cause he can hear what she don't say each night like clockwork. The vampires, they take away, but it's alright, Annabella, 'cause it comes back around someday. Yeah, it's alright, Annabella, 'cause it comes back around someday. Back around someday. Back around someday. Ooh, it's alright, Annabella, 'cause he can hear what she don't say. It's alright, Annabella, 'cause he can hear what she don't say each night like clockwork. The vampires, they take away, but it's alright, Annabella, 'cause it comes back around someday. Yeah, it's alright, Annabella, 'cause it comes back around someday. Back around someday. Back around
I'm gonna try one I haven't played in a really long time. It was one of the first songs I wrote. It's about Psalm 5, when David was like hiding in the hills and everybody wanted to kill him and he was scared. It's called David Said.
It was so dark he couldn't see. He was walking home in the dead of night, pacing towards another wall. A downward spiral, down he'd fall. Time and time he pushed himself down. He pushed himself down at the darkness, and he let the darkness in. He cannot forget those things he's done. The shame goes on and on and on. He can't forget those things he's done. The pain goes on and on and on. And then he spoke take, and I'll follow you. You wrote some stuff down the other night. He was thinking about his enemies. His enemies, they do not speak. They do not speak one truthful word. Their talk is foul. Their talk is foul, like stench from an open grave. Oh, help them, God. They cannot stop these things they do, and they rebel, and we cannot stop these things we do, and we rebel, and then he spoke to him, and David said, because of your unfailing love, I will enter your house with the deepest awe. Lead me down the right path, oh Lord. My enemies, they'll conquer me. Show me what to do, show me which way to go, which path to take, and I'll follow you. And David said, oh, hear my prayer, oh, hear my prayer, oh, hear me, God. David said, oh, hear my prayer, oh, hear me, God. David said, oh, hear my prayer, oh, God, oh, hear me, God. That's what David said, and that's what David said, because of your unfailing love. Because of your unfailing love, I will enter your house. Because of your unfailing love. Because of your unfailing love, I will enter your house with the deepest awe. Lead me down the right path, oh Lord. My enemies, they'll conquer me. Show me what to do, show me which way to go, which path to take, and I'll follow you. I'll follow you. Show me which way to go, which path to take, and I'll follow you. Thank you.
Thanks for having me so much.
We want to thank you, Carrie. Let's give her one more hand. Is that awesome? You know, it's something wondrous to come here week after week. It's a little bit different than just watching it from home, because with all these beautiful stories and all this gorgeous music, it makes a profound difference. It's really, really special. This is something I don't want to miss, and fortunately I don't have to. And neither do you. We hope that you'll join us here at Spirit Station, here at Steamworks in Gibsonia on Route 8. Let's see, what did I want to say? For those that may not be sure about your faith, you can change your mind faster than you know. And here's a simple way to do it. You got a headache? You want to take your mind off it? Drop a book on your foot. That'll take your mind off it right away. Okay? But there's another thing to think about, and this is, I've made mention to him before. His name is Anthony DeMello. He has died some years ago, but he was a Jesuit priest. And one of the things when he talked about faith was he talked about a visit that he had with a woman who had become a quadriplegic in the hospital, was never going to leave Fortunately, in her room, she had a window. And she was able to look out the window, and that was it. And he went to visit very often. And he could never get over the joy that she had in her heart, could never understand why she was so happy every time. Sometimes she was more positive than he was. And he asked her why, and she says, it's not why is because she couldn't go anywhere, she couldn't do anything, all that was gone. And what she said is, I can go anywhere I want. I have all the loveliest things, and I can see the future as well as the world. She knew the secret of having love in your heart and being able to see the world differently, to see everything, to imagine it, to dream it, to experience it, to remember it, to feel the breeze across the face. This is what we have in our lives too. We just don't give it attention. So what I'd like to do tonight is close our time together with a prayer. First, I pray that if there are musicians out there that want to join us, then by all means, please contact me, Greg, at waystationsministries.org. If there are persons out here who got a blessing tonight, you might want to check out some of our other events that are now online on YouTube at Steamworks Spirit Station. We want to acknowledge that we have the gift of thought, that we have the gift of emotion. We want to give thanks for our ability to think and to change and to move and to go places and to do things. We want to give thanks for the food that we eat and the people that we know and the people that love us. We got to give thanks for the meaning and purpose of our lives and the way in which we travel them and how unique they are one from another. And yet all along the way we can make contact with each other and make our way together for a while. And that is such a wondrous thing. So with gratitude in our hearts, we give thanks for the music and the stories that we heard tonight. We give thanks for the hope that we have for what we're going to hear next week. We give thanks for what we're going to do when we lay down to rest tonight and how we're going to greet the day tomorrow. A little bit different, a little bit brighter, a little bit happier. And that's where we want to be. Amen? Amen. Amen. Thank you so much.